Welcome to How's Your ePresence. This is How's Your ePresence. We are produced by ePresence. My name is Mark Galvin. I'm your host, and this is an unplanned show. And the reason we're running live is because, in case you haven't noticed, Facebook and Instagram are both down. And there's a little bit of a debate. Internet's not working so well right now. So if there's a little bit of a pause and you see me freeze up a little bit, it's a little bit of an internet problem because there's so much going on the web that it could be affecting the speed of everybody's transmission. And I have brought on a guest. I happen to know someone that is an expert on the internet. And I gave him a buzz and said, "Hey, dude, will you join me live and we can talk about this and see if we can help people figure out what's going on?" Because everybody has a question. So my guest is Rob Riggs. He is the founder and owner of Code Conspirators. They are a web developer and they do some serious work on the internet. So I'm going to bring him in. Let's see if we can get Rob in. There he is. Rob, how are you, sir?
Hey, Mark. Excellent, man. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm great. Fortunately, I don't live and die by Facebook, but it's important in our space. So it's a little, it's an interesting day. Are you a big Facebook guy?
I log in once in a while. I use it more for business groups than I do for, scrolling and, posting on my feed. But
right.
I do touch base. It's a great reminder of people's birthdays, which I'm a big believer in celebrating people's special day. But yeah, there's so many good business groups right now that we cannot access because Facebook is down.
Wait a minute, it's this way. So look there.
Yeah,
that's Facebook.
There it is.
I can't reach this page, and if I go in. And I have too many monitors here. So if you see me jockeying my microphone, it's because I got to move around it. So let's see if we can get to Instagram. And it's spinning. There we go. Nope. Instagram is still down. What is there a page that you go to see how to see if websites are down?
There is a what is it? Report outage. So we use Uptime Robot for our sites, our servers, our clients.
Okay.
But so it just sends a ping, constantly every minute or so to make sure, is the site down?
So this is the pedestrian site.
Sure, it is. Yeah.
And even it takes a while. So I've clicked this and you can see up here at the top. Let me change the background here so that gets out of the way. There we go. So at the very top of the screen, you can see, look at this. It's struggling.
Mm-hmm.
So many people are hitting it. Now it's still loading up here. We can see it's still working. It's just amazing, right? And I would tell you, I'd be worried. Maybe it's my local system. So I'm going to show you guys something. This is kind of interesting. So this is the speed test on my computer. And I just think it shows you how widespread problems are. I am flying.
Look at you. Yeah.
Right. So I don't have a speed issue on my computer. What we are actually seeing here is the internet is really, really slow. So there's the up. So I got plenty of going on there. So I'm going to get rid of that. But we can see it. This is interesting. Notice it pulled up Facebook here. I'm going to check Facebook since it finally popped up with something. I'm going to hit check here. Watch what happens. This is kind of interesting. Come on. It's back to spinning. We're back at the top spinning again. It will produce results. I've done this a couple of times. While this is happening, the question is, and we'll come back to this. I got to move my over here. We'll come back to this. What do you think would happen to a Facebook and an Instagram simultaneously that would take them both down? What is it that would do that?
So it could be a couple things. It could be several things, but looking at this, the error that I'm getting when you try to load the page directly rather than checking up or down, you get the error page that says this site can't be reached. And okay, in my browser, I get you got like the link connection timed out. I get in my browser, which may be a little different than yours, DNS probe finished NX domain, and I'm on Chrome. But
all right, so you can share your screen. You go to the bottom of the screen. There's a share button, little plus sign. Click that, and then you can select that screen. I'd like to see it.
Yep, absolutely.
Because you've got a better, your tech, a little more advanced than my pedestrian one is.
All good. There we go. So that is what I'm getting, DNS probe, which tells me this is not a hack necessarily. This is not like a Facebook server being down necessarily, but it looks to be potentially a network issue with where things are being routed, where DNS. So DNS is a translator so every server that your website is live on, the servers have an IP address. You'll know this. IP address basically tells computers how to talk to each other, and everything that is internet enabled has an IP address, from your computer to your a web server to your printer down the hall. And the DNS simply translates a friendly name, so we don't have to remember 4 sets of numbers. So we can remember Facebook.com. We can't remember 10.172.182, whatever. So that's what translates. And this looks to me, granted, I'm not an expert on Facebook or their network, but it looks to me to be a DNS issue from where this is.
Interesting. Now, so it's not an attack. It's just
so it could be an attack on the network, so which would be interesting as well. It could be ransomware. It could be an attack where somebody gains unauthorized entry into their service level, DNS service level, rather than an actual server, because Facebook has entire data center full of servers, so it's not like somebody got into a server and attacked it, hacked it, disabled. It's not like somebody pulled the plug on a particular server. But this is suggest. So I had probably 10 years.
Really incredible. And Rob, I'm going to jump in here. Let me show you this. This is my screen. It finally loaded. I've got a lot more garbage on my screen, but right here in the middle, Facebook is down for everyone, not just you. Yeah. The server is not responding. And it's been down. Look at this for over approximately 3.5 hours. Holy moly, Batman. That's a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be one thing for, it'd be one thing for a small local organization to lose access to their, for their website to go down. But we're talking Facebook, a billion-dollar company. This is not a little thing.
Right. And for it to be that, so Google had an issue several months ago, and they were down for maybe 20 minutes. But Facebook, for hours. That's
all right. So I got another question for you.
Sure.
Internet. I mean, this is really interesting. So I'm trying to get to this site here, and it took me a long time to get this thing to pop up, just to show me this status. And they're probably getting a lot of traffic of people trying to see what's up with Facebook, right?
Sure.
But can Facebook impact the entire internet and create our speed overall?
Probably not like you're describing, but there is if enough people, so it's the way you are accessing the internet, and everybody else is accessing the internet too. So it could be impacting the grid where things are happening. And so if Facebook's data centers are sharing, if they're consuming a lot of bandwidth, trying to, if they've got a DDoS, denial of service attacks, going on, then that could impact people regionally, their ability to access the internet like this.
Got it. Oh, that's interesting. This is funny. So we're broadcasting to LinkedIn, and I don't know what user this is. This is funny. Yeah. It's good to have a break from those platforms anyway.
Absolutely. I wonder how much more businesses are accomplishing right now that since before you can't be on Facebook.
I will tell you, I had a lot of other things I was working on. I saw this, like, let's pop online and talk about this, because this is a pretty unique thing, and I couldn't find any answers. And the question that I have is, and that's why I wanted to ask you, Rob, is what's going on? Mm-hmm. And is this something that I could be worried about? Is this something that could be affecting my computer? And this has nothing to do with my computer. It has everything to do with what's going on with Facebook and Instagram. All right. So the phone rings, the hotline rings at the offices of Code Conspirators, and you're hosting Facebook. What do you do to fix it?
That's tough. So you start with the simple one. Did you turn it off and turn it back on? It's always the first go-to.
So really, I mean, come on. Can they just restart it? Is that possible?
So we encountered an issue like this 10 years ago with a new client. They had started working with us, but we had not taken over their hosting yet. And this was with a company. I will not mention their name, but basically they had an outage that was beyond their server farm, but in their network. And it took probably 3 days for them to get that network issue resolved.
Wow.
Granted, they are, they're a hosting company. They should be able to resolve things like that a little more quickly. But it was kind of, our client was freaking out. A brand new client. We were able to save the day by just picking up. So we couldn't access their server, but we did have a backup at that time, because when we start working with somebody, we create a backup just to make sure we're not breaking anything. So we just launched our backup immediately, and they were down for less than a day, while their entire that server network where they were hosted previously was down for 3. And so things like that can be, there's always a workaround, but it's tough like this.
How do you have a backup for Facebook, right? I mean, this is unbelievable. Still shows that they're down. That's just incredible. All right. Have another question for you.
Sure.
And the question is simply, do you think that Facebook took it down themselves? Now, Tina, good friend, with 4 Winds Marketing, and they do a great job. But this is an interesting question based on what happened last night with the woman from 60 Minutes, and her name is, I got it in my notes here. I got to get to that page. It's gone because we did it before we restarted. Her name, she was on 60 Minutes last night, and I'm astounded at, here it is, I got it finally. Frances Haugen, Haugen. So for those of you who have not heard this, last night on 60 Minutes, there was a segment where this woman, and I'm going to put this in the show notes here on the side so you'll be able to see this name. She came on and shared how Facebook is more interested in making money, less interested, and that just went to YouTube. Hopefully it reached you guys on LinkedIn. Frances, Fraces Haugen. If you look for 60 Minutes last night, you'll see this. But she made a very big deal that Facebook is doing harm. They know they're doing harm, societal harm, individual harms to teenagers and the like. And there was a whole Wall Street Journal series on this last week, actually maybe 2 weeks ago. And Facebook ignored their own information that said that they're doing harm because they wanted to make money. Do you think Facebook would take it down based on that? Like that? They have stockholders, right?
They have stockholders. They're not making ad revenue right now. So
Oh, good point.
I would think they want to be up and running as soon as possible. But this, to me, points out the need that so many businesses rely on Facebook for their business, whether it's advertising. Some people don't even have their own internet presence. They rely on a Facebook page or their LinkedIn page, pages that are reliant on the services provided by somebody else. And
right.
To me, this is so you're always going to rely on somebody. You've got to have a web server in order to keep your website running. Unless you're skilled at building sites as a business owner yourself, business manager, you've got to depend on somebody. But this goes to show you, to me, what so a website, for example, you own that content as opposed to getting it for free or leasing it, renting it, from a service provider like a Facebook, LinkedIn. And when something like this happens and you don't have a backup plan, or if this is your main thing, that's just it's a
you're
tough
in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. So I'm doing a quick refresh here, and I think, there's not much else to say about this, Rob. Any final thoughts? And hold on, we're checking it, and it is, for the record, still down. I just refreshed the screen. It's still down. I'm just astounded. Such a major provider to be down. We are officially over the 3.5 hour mark. I'm just blown away.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I can't remember when this happened before. Maybe it has. There's maybe a few of them, but not often.
Yeah. They're
pretty big deal.
But yeah, that's a big one.
All right, Rob, thank you, man, for jumping on. Hopefully we're helping people not feel like the sky is falling. I appreciate you joining me, man. We'll see you soon.
Sure, man. Thanks for having me, Mark.
Peace, man. Well, folks, appreciate Rob jumping on so quickly. I sent him a quick text. I said, hey, man, can you jump on? I think we can help some people out that are wondering what is going on with Facebook. And no, the sky is not falling, fortunately, but this is a really interesting thing. And Tina's question about the irony, and there's certainly irony there, that this segment from 60 Minutes drops last night, that the Wall Street Journal, the Facebook files dropped last week, or last month, I should say. It's a little interesting timing, but whatever the case is, we know now that it's really a technology issue, and I'm sure Facebook will be up soon. I thank Rob Riggs a ton for joining me under such a quick request. A good guy. Check him out at Code Conspirators. Great organization. How's Your ePresence is produced by ePresence. Our goal is to help you understand a little bit more about social, how we can help you do social better. Our tagline is social media solved. And right now, there's not a lot of social media to solve while Facebook is down. So in that case, I'd probably migrate over to the LinkedIn and give LinkedIn a try. Stay tuned. If we see anything new that we can update, we'll do another live broadcast. Otherwise, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon.